Well, before the mission can truly take off, we get a bit of a detour as Phillip and Elizabeth explore what this mission truly entails. Hey guys, remember the Americans, Season 5, Episode 4, What's the Matter with Kansas? And I was definitely looking forward to this episode. The season so far has been quite good. I definitely think this has been a really great season. It's been a little bit slower than some of the other ones have been, but I've really been loving what we've got in this season, and I think this episode, definitely this was another really fantastic episode. I really am interested in seeing where we're going to go from here. But let's just get into this episode, because like I said in my intro, this was definitely a bit of a detour. Like, there was a little bit less action going on, a little bit more reflecting on what's actually going to happen here, what's really at stake, and I thought it was cool the way the Americans really did take a backseat with that. It shows how much they're focused on character, and I really did love that. Particularly the first scene in this episode, I think really does, I think show that very well. We see Elizabeth and Phillip, they're meeting with Gabriel, and he has found them a few potential marks to infiltrate in Topeka to get to the bottom of the AgriCorp business and America infecting the Soviet Union's grain supply. So there are a couple things they need to do here, and they try to get out of it. They explain that driving to Topeka every week is taking up too much of their time, that it's a long drive, obviously. They're away from their kids a lot, and the more they're away from Paige, the more likely it is she's going to end up telling Matthew what's going on. So they have work that they're trying to do here, plus things are complicated with Paige right now, and Gabriel's just not taking no for an answer. And we've known Gabriel to always be very persistent. He's always been very direct. This is what you're doing. You have no other choice. You must do this. I mean, that's the reason why Paige knows, because they were essentially forced to tell her. And basically, it looks like they're going back to Topeka again. So I like the way he set up that Topeka somewhere that they don't really want to be, and that this is just not really someplace that, they enjoy. They don't like driving there. They don't like being away from their kids, and that's something I thought they set up quite well here. But it also looks like the Paige isn't Phillip and Elizabeth's only problem, because the next morning they have to deal with Henry, actually, which Henry hasn't done a ton this season, but I think that's about to change when we get to this episode, because Elizabeth actually got a phone call from his math teacher, and we found out that there was actually a problem at school. Now, Henry denies that it's not that big of a deal, but I don't really know at this point. I mean, again, I think Henry's finding out this season. It's inevitable he's going to. I mean, Paige knows, Stan's got to find out at some point. Henry is going to find out what's going on, and I think this is definitely leading us closer to that. I don't know if this has to do with Phillip and Elizabeth being away, but I feel like it's only a matter of time before Paige ends up telling him, what's actually going on with their parents, because he knows something's going on. I mean, again, they're not stupid. I've said this before. Their kids are not stupid. They know what's going on. If Paige can find out, I think so can Henry, and I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there. But meanwhile, in Russia, Oleg is caving under the pressure that the FBI is putting on him. He confesses to his mom that he is in trouble, and he explains that when he was in America, and I like that he told her what's going on, in case something happens. I've said it before, he's in an insurmountable situation at this point. I mean, this is something where his entire family could be killed, they could end up attacking them, so in case that does happen, and they are attacked, I like that he did in fact tell her that, hey, basically he's in trouble, and that when he was in America, he told Stan some things that he shouldn't have, and now he's being blackmailed because of it, and naturally his mom doesn't take the news well. Only thing is, Stan is the one that's trying to, get him, to not come back to America and to get him to stay in Russia. It kind of is Stan that he should be thanking in many ways, because we see in this episode Stan, he's doing what he can to make sure that Oleg stays in Russia and they don't try to transfer him to America, because they know what kind of stuff they're going to do there. And obviously his mom doesn't take the news well, but I like the way this is starting to be set up. I think Oleg's plot definitely does have the most going on. Like I said, there's not a ton going on. Well, there is stuff going on with Elizabeth and Phillip, but like I said, it's a little bit more of reflecting stuff. Oleg's plot has a lot more action going on. I definitely did like the way that was done here. So, Phillip has Topeka in his disguise. He tracks down accountant from AgriCorp at the gym, and he tries to strike up a conversation with her, and her name is Deirdre, and she really is not interested, we can see. So, Elizabeth gives it a go, and heads to Topeka, and tries working with another employee from AgriCorp. She turns on the charm when she bumps into Ben Storbert at the health food store, who essentially they feel is the man responsible for all this, and basically, she starts flirting with him, and you can see it's very similar to other relationships, where she has to act like she's interested, and she has to sleep with him, and, we're reminded the kind of things that Phillip and Elizabeth have to do when they're in assignment, that they have to sleep with them, that they have to act like they're interested, and that's exactly what's going on with Elizabeth right now. So, back home, Philip heads out for drinks with Alexei, and he tells Philip all about the beer in the Soviet Union, which surprisingly, there's no Tuan in this episode. I thought Tuan was going to be here, but no, there's no Tuan in this episode, and basically he tells Philip all about the beer in the Soviet Union as if he doesn't know all about it, and he rants about how broken the Russian system really is and how the food is rotten, but again, this is all stuff that they know, so they have to try to be as quiet about it as possible, and seeing them try to hide that, it's really hard to watch at points, because they don't want to have to be quiet about it. They want to be able to say something, but unfortunately they can't because they have to keep that cover. And Elizabeth then returns home from Topeka. Philip's waiting for her. She fills him in on her meeting with Ben, and she brought him back a gift, which is a tiny bottle of alcohol that the guy bought for her on the plane. And the next day, they held a double date with Stan, his new girlfriend from the gym, Renee, and she rambles about where she grew up and quizzed Philip and Elizabeth about their lives, and she just seems very interested in what's going on here. And this makes me very suspicious about her, the way that she's so insistent on questioning them and where they grew up. I mean, why does she care so much? It seems really suspicious. Just the way she's acting is very shady, and I know that this is someone that Stan truly does love, but as we've seen, that doesn't usually work out very well for Stan. I mean, think about it. His first love, Nina, obviously things didn't work out with Sandra. Nina was killed, and he had to move on from her. Now he has Renee, who it seems that he really does love, but I suspect there's definitely more going on with her than we think, and basically, she rambles a bit, and the Jennings social calendar is certainly packed these days. We see, definitely it's obviously, very packed, and you can tell that there's just a lot more going on with her. So in the Soviet Union, Oleg is reporting to work every day as if nothing is wrong. He and his partner are investigating a local grocery store, and they seem to have cut an illegal deal with a food supplier to box out the competition. Obviously, they're doing what they can to try to make sure there is no competition, so they're the ones that are, that they're the ones in the lead. that she cares about what he's saying and that she's interested in what he's doing, that what he's doing is fun and that she's just laughing about it, when in reality, it really is having a huge effect on everything she cares about. We know how dedicated she is to Russia, even more so than Phil, but she's always been so dedicated to Russia and to her country, and it matters so much to her. So for her to have to laugh, I mean, really to show how great of a spy she really is, but again, it's just a really saddening situation for her to go through. So I thought that was definitely a very well done scene. Kerry Russell really did a great job there, as she always does. I mean, she's great in every scene, but she was particularly great in that one scene. I thought she really did a fantastic job there. And then, of course, Philip, he's trying to get through to Deirdre. Doesn't really seem like she's making much of an advance at him, but we'll have to see what's going to happen between him and Deirdre. Let's talk about Renee, because like I said, I do not trust Renee whatsoever. I can understand why Stan likes her. I can understand that he feels that he has this woman that he can talk to, but just something about her does not strike me right. Something about her I just don't trust. I don't think that she's someone that Stan should be with. I think she's going to cause a lot of problems for him, and if I was Stan, I'd get the hell out of this as soon as I can, because I don't feel it's a safe situation for him. I feel like he's just setting him up for a disaster. Again, I could very much be wrong, but right now, I really do feel like this is a very bad situation for him, so we're gonna have to see where that's gonna go. I'm interested in seeing what's gonna happen between Stan. Maybe Renee's not that shady, maybe I'm just thinking that, but I think it's just been because so many seasons, we always have these characters who seem good, and they turn to be really shady. I feel like Renee falls into that category. Right now, at least, I think that. Maybe that'll change in a couple episodes, but right now, I don't trust her. We'll have to see where that's going to go. I really did love where we went with Stan here, though. Like I said, his insistence to relinquish, to relinquish Oleg and try to get him back to America. I like that he, is refusing to do that. Like, he's saying, look, if we're going to do that, I'm going to ruin this entire agency, and I'm going to expose everything that we've done, that I killed Vladimir 3 years ago, and that's going to get us all in jail. I'm even willing to go to jail. You can really tell that he's doing whatever he can to prevent Oleg from coming back, but I feel like it's inevitable that that's what's going to happen. I mean, again, they need him there for a reason. I just feel like he has to at this point. Like, he doesn't want to see his entire family get killed. Oleg is going to have to come back to America, so we'll have to see what ends up happening there. I don't know if he's going to, but after what his mom said, if I was Oleg, I definitely would come back to America. I just feel like it's the best situation for him, and as much as I think Stan wants to push for him to stay away and try to be with his mom and just enjoy what he's doing there, I think the best thing for him to do is to come back to America, so we'll have to see what happens there. But I love the reveal of when Oleg's mom went through. I think it just added more and more to her character. I like the way we're getting into that whole story. We already know that she's dying and she's, that's why he went back there, but to know she's suffering even more and that she's been in camps and what she's had to endure, I mean, it really shows how tragic of a life Oleg's family has really gone through, so I think they showed that very well. We didn't see a ton of Mishka in this episode. We got like a couple scenes of nothing really too shocking, nothing really that big to talk about. Overall, guys, was another really great episode. Also, I love that Pastor Tim is back in the story. The whole thing with Paige, now that Paige knows, like I said, what Phil and Elizabeth do with the, regarding their disguises and everything, this is a lot more paramount now. Now, the fact that Pastor Tim, they're not aware of what's actually going on there, she can end up exposing their entire family. This could end up really badly for them. So who knows really where that whole story is going to go. Henry's got to find out at some point. I think the whole thing with Henry and him getting these bad grades, I think that definitely is going to play a big role. Like I said, overall, this was definitely more of a setup episode, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I definitely really am interested in seeing where the rest of this season is going to go. I'm really enjoying the scene so far. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, within the rest of the season and where we end up going, in this second half. I think it's truly about to take off next week, definitely. It's been a bit of a slow start. The premiere was great, and these last three, they've been great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's definitely been a bit of, not of a slog, that's not the word, because The Americans is never boring. I'd never say the show is boring, but it definitely has been a bit slower than past seasons have been. But I still really did love this episode. I thought there was some great introspective stuff with the characters. I thought we really got into what they're all going through. Like I said, some really great reflective stuff. And I'm definitely giving The Americans Season 5, Episode 4, What's the Matter with Kansas, a 4.5 out of 5 or an A-. So, guys, Murray, this episode of The Americans. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode overall. Loved your thoughts on it. Where do you think this season is going? Do you trust Renee? What do you think Oleg's gonna do? Did you like this more? Like I said, did you like this more reflective episode as opposed to the action episodes? For me, my ideal Americans episode is a little bit of both, and I hope we do get an episode like that soon. I think it's been, like I said, a bit slower than others. This was still an amazing episode. I just felt we could have gotten just a little bit more action and things like that. Not saying the show needs to be action heavy, not at all. Just saying I want a little bit more going on, especially for a penultimate season. It's feeling like one, definitely. It feels like things are winding down. I just want to start seeing things play out. But that's my review. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for Arrow, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.